Just hold me near as the clock strikes 10. The 9 hears it said, let me lose control and make the time bad. With some skin and a bit of sin, give me more than just words. Baby, they come from your lips. Oh, baby, why don't we start with a kiss?
Welcome everyone, I'm Marv and this is Orion Homestead Projects. This is actually the first episode in a continuing saga of various projects that I'm doing around my property, and some of them are sensible, some of them are way out there. The intent of this video is to more or less run through a trip on memory lane, show you some previous projects I've done. I don't have videos of the projects, but I do have photos of, for some of them, of the build process and how it happens. So this video is intended to hopefully spark interest and let you see some of the things that I have done to get an idea of what you can expect and see for the future. I am currently sitting right now in my home office. My home office just happens to be one of those projects, and it's the first one I'm going to take you through. This project was realized by winning an award with my company, and they provided me a large sum of money to be able to build my dream office, and this is the result. I did put some of my money in it to get it to where that I wanted it to be. Unfortunately, at the time frame that I did this was when we started having a lot of inflation and lumber prices going up, and so I didn't get to do everything that I intended because I ran out of money pretty quickly because all the prices skyrocketed. At any rate, I hope you enjoy it, and now I'm going to take you on a tour of my home office. Thank you. The first unique feature that I want to show you about this office build happens to be related to the bookshelf behind me. Now you may be asking yourself, what's so unique about a bookshelf? And I will tell you that it actually serves two purposes. And in order to fully demonstrate that, I'm going to actually show you rather than talk about it. Let me stand up and get out of the way and move this chair, and I'll give you a rundown. So as you can see, it is pretty much just a standard bookshelf, which we've built into the wall. I have it right here next to my desk so that I can easily access anything that I may be storing on it or have on it. But the unique feature about it is the dual purpose that it serves. So let me just grab this piece of trim right here and rip it off the wall. And I can put this over here out of the way. And then when I do that, you'll see that there's a big gap there and all kind of other stuff. And if I pull on it, you will see that it is actually a door that leads into my attic space where my attic air conditioning unit is. The doorway that you see right there is the same size as the original door that was there. The one thing that I didn't want in my office was a flat panel slab luan door to detract from the rest of the finish of the office. As you can see, it closes right back up. A few little things about it that I do want to point out. As you'll notice, the rough opening for the original door was not in any way, shape, or form level or square. So I wound up having to do quite a bit of shimming and adapting to that opening to get this in. The hinges that are down there are actually spring-loaded hinges. So if I were to open this again, and then let it go, it closes on its own. Doesn't go all the way back because of resistance from other things that it's coming in contact with, but it does go all the way back. The other thing I'll point out is there are no physical latches or anything for the door. I built it in here tight on purpose and by design, and that tightness is actually the latch that keeps it closed. As you can see right here, I have a little bit of cabinet hardware. These are simply cabinet door latches. On the back of this, you can see that there are cabinet door latches as well. There's also one right here that lines up with this particular latch catch right here. Once everything is lined up, you just snap it in place and it goes right back to its original position. In all fairness, sometimes putting this back on can be a little bit tricky, trying to get everything lined up so it'll snap in place. But once it snaps in place, it's there and it doesn't go anywhere. So let me see if I can get this to work real quick for you. Show you how that works. And there it is. So that is the unique feature about this bookshelf, is that it is also a door and it is very inconspicuous. The next feature that I want to discuss is the fireplace that you saw in the opening sequence of this video. This is an electric LED type fireplace. It does have heat and the heat works. It's thermostatically controlled. I actually used it last winter. Very pleased with it. This entire fireplace setup was custom built with structural lumber. There is a structural frame underneath this particular piece of granite right here, so that this granite comes out to be the exact height of this lumber that I used right here. So this particular piece of granite was actually given to me by a friend of mine. They remodeled their kitchen and gave me quite a large chunk of the granite that came out of their kitchen. So I used this piece of granite as the bottom of the fireplace. This structural lumber here, these are all oak boards. They were given to me by my neighbor who couldn't use them for the projects that he was working on. So I cleaned them up and sanded them down and actually used them as the bottom framing for the bottom of the fireplace. This is all oak, rough cut lumber as well. The trim pieces that you see here are also oak. These vertical pieces right here, they are not oak. They are either cedar or cypress. They are not pine and they are not oak. I bought the tile that you see around the outside of the fireplace, put that in, and then put in another piece of that oak as a mantle above the fireplace, and then trimmed it all out. In reality, this fireplace just slides right out. If there's ever any need for me to do any maintenance or electrical work or anything behind it, it just slides right out. Can't think of anything else that I particularly need to address about the fireplace, other than I'm extremely happy with it and I love the focal point that it provides to the room. All right, so let's run through a few other features of my office. So one of the first things that I would like to show you is the fact that I've added a little bit of a depth and character to the wall there. That was not by design, that was by necessity, because the way they built the house, there was a structural beam that runs up there and it was not square and straight with the wall, so I did that to actually camouflage and cover that up. Notice that you have the brick look. Those are masonite panels actually on one layer, and then I've got the lighter brick to match the base of the fireplace down there behind the television. Have that sunken in there, and then if you come around over this side, you can see the same thing. You've got the masonite panel with the woodworking going down. I carried the masonite paneling as a wainscot across the office this way, as you can see, and then around the air conditioner vent I used the lighter tones. I also created the little outcrops there in the wall, and I did that specifically to be able to do what I wanted to do with the bookshelf door over there that I've already showed you. The other thing that I did was I custom built the desk that you see here. This is actually a standing desk. I did all the trim work. The outside panels are strictly just Luan paneling. Did all the trim work. And then I built those parts on the top of the desk, and what that does is that actually hides all the cabling underneath. And if you walk around here, you can see that the displays are purpose built into those cabinets on both sides. I have two displays. When I originally built this, I didn't have the monitors that you see on top because my company put me on another project and I had to have another laptop and I needed the other monitors. So I just set them up on top of there. But I do want to point out this is actually a standing desk and it does elevate, and I'll show you that in a minute. Again, continuing the brick wainscot around, there's the doorway that goes into the attic, and there is the actual structural frame of the standing desk right there, and you can see the controls that bring it up and down, and that is the desk. So now what I want to do is take you this side and show you one of the things that I did over here was I actually reversed the way that the wall was. It was the brick were indented on this side, and when I brought them over here I did it just the opposite. They're outdented on this side. The lighter frame, brick panel is actually indented on this side, and then I used various pieces of wood to create the shelving that you see there in that indentation. Again, going down, my printer stand is actually another piece of that granite that I had, and I used for the table there, and then brought it over here. All of the countertops and the desktop is all maple plywood, and then I sanded and stained and finished it. The polyurethane that I used on it is actually polyurethane for hardwood floors, so it is extremely durable as a surface protectant for a countertop and for a desktop. And there you can see the actual desktop itself. It's covered with a whole bunch of stuff, but it is a maple desktop. And now I think what I'm going to do is run through a little bit of the things about the desk, and that'll close up the office tour. The next feature that I want to talk about in my office is my desk. This is a custom built desk. It is a standing desk, and it took a lot of work to actually make this function the way that I wanted to. But I do want to point out that there is a unique little feature about this that I would like to show you, and for me to be able to do that, I'm going to have to raise it up. So I will do that right now. As you can see, it is very much a standing desk, and it is coming upward. One of the things I have to be careful of, because when I did this, I didn't have those monitors up there, so I cannot bring it all the way up. I just have to be careful so that I don't let those monitors hit the ceiling. So as you can see, it's up. I can stand behind it. It is at a perfect height for that right now, even though it is not all the way up, it's very close. So the feature that I wanted to show you with this is the work that you see here with the masonite boarding. And this is actually the same type of boarding that I have on the wall behind the fireplace and on the other side of the room as well. I built the framing around this so that it would finish it out, because I did not want the industrial frame look in my office. Some other features that I want to show you, if we come over here. So one of the things that you can see is that this is all finished. This structure part that you see right here is firmly affixed to the floor and does not move. The other thing is that this particular piece of wood right here is in line with the actual desktop, so when it comes down, it forms a seamless desktop finish that you would see from the inside. Also, please note that there's no cables coming down here. All the electronics are on top, so I've made sure that I did the work that I needed to take care of the cables so that they didn't fall through here and jam this thing up when it came up and came down. Underneath here, I have a power strip that I use, and all of the electronics and everything that is in top of the desk is on that power strip, and there is a single cord that runs down through here to a self-contained outlet down below, and that provides the power for all the electronics on the desk. So that is the desktop, or the desk in a nutshell. This is the only movable part, and I do want to point out, you see the finish here with the masonite brick boards in here. On the other side of the desk, underneath where you sit at, there is also the same type of finish, but it matches this wood, which is the finish on the inside. And now the next step is that I want to bring it down. Before I do, I would like to show you that there is a 45-degree angle on the trim here, and then an opposing 45-degree angle on the trim here. And I've done that because when I drop this down, when it hits this, it helps to make sure that it's lined up. And then when it's also down, you don't see that gap as opposed to if it was a straight line. You can still see it if you're looking close enough, but if you're just glancing by it, you would never notice it. So now I'll bring it down. Comes down effortlessly. All of the weight with the finish that I put on top of it, all the electronics, all of the other things that I've done, I've had no issues with this thing whatsoever. I really enjoy it, and I definitely like using the standing feature of it as well. Another thing that I wanted to show you is one of the projects that I did. Music has always been a part of my life, and I have a very large collection of vinyl albums. Some of these are approaching 30 years old. I mean 100 years old. The bottom shelf is the collection that I had growing up from high school until I stopped buying vinyl. The shelf higher than that is actually a collection that I was able to pick up from a friend, and there's some really old stuff in there. Every single album that you see there is playable and doesn't have a lot of pops, scratches. I've taken very good care of them over time. But I built this with the specific intent of being able to provide a place for all of my musical albums. As you can see, one of the things that I did is at one point in my life I was really into getting and collecting all of the picture albums, and I have quite a few of those, and I've actually added them as a decorational aspect of the shelf. And I just wanted to share that as another one of those projects that I did. I've got some pictures and a slideshow to show you how it developed and the end result of that. Okay, one of the next projects that I want to introduce you to is what I call my music room. I developed this probably about 1.5 years ago because I love music and I love playing with it. So here is my workstation desk. I've got my mixing board. The computer that is there is specifically and solely dedicated to the purpose of music. There's nothing else on it. I've got a drum machine right here with a couple of accessories for it. I've got 2 MIDI players. One is specifically for piano and the other one I use for MIDI. I've got my monitor speakers on the wall there, and I've got a large subwoofer. You can't see it, but it's underneath there. As you can see, all of the cabling and stuff is wrapped with the insulating foam, and that's to help control the sound in the room. I can tell you, I don't know if you can pick it up on the audio in here, but this is very close to a soundproof room. And the reason for that is all of these sound deadening panels that you see all over the room. I built those, put them in. They have the Rockwool sound deadening insulation in them. Put them in specific places based on information that I received from my calibrating microphones that I plug in. I've got one on the ceiling. When I'm doing music in here, I don't have the fan on because that adds noise to the music, especially if the microphones are on, which are over there. This is my pride and joy. I actually picked this up at Goodwill, And believe it or not, I paid 29 cents for it, and yes, it does work. I have not been able to find too many problems with it. Probably one of the only things that I really want to do is replace the speakers on it, because I think one of them might be cracked or something. But beyond that, it does work. It's fully functional, and I got it for 29 cents. For 29 cents, even if it didn't work, it's a beautiful decoration, and I love it in the room. So I just wanted to introduce you to this. This is another one of the projects that I've done. I do a lot of research before I do anything to make sure that I have somewhat of an idea of what I'm doing. And this is the result. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is my dining room. I really didn't do a whole bunch here other than some minor upgrades to it. One of the first things that I want to point out is I added this rectangular light fixture to go with the table that I found. Pretty much everything that I get, I try to get on clearance sale, whatever. And I got this off of Amazon. I got it for $200, and at the time that I bought it, it was somewhere in the neighborhood of about a $450 light. Just to show you real quick, it does put out a lot of light. So that's how it works. It is really nice. So I more or less decorated in here with a Paris theme because I love that city. I've been there once. Tried to put everything in here that I could with somewhat of a Paris theme, as you can see. And I really like the way that it turned out. Those brass lamps that you see hanging on the wall there, I actually got those in Turkey in the late 80s. I've had them ever since. So they're quite old. They still work. The original, they were oil lamps. I don't use the oil lamp part of it anymore. I actually just put tea candles in it when I light them, and it works really well. The other thing that I would like to show you is this little cabinet here that was given to me by a friend. I really love this thing. It's got a wine rack in the center and then storage on each side. I decorated up with glassware from the various places that I've been and things that I bought over time. So now what we'll do is we'll move on and go to the focal point of most of the projects that I have done. Behind that door that you see right there is my basement. It goes down. There's a stairwell that goes down, and that is where I've done most of my projects and most of my work on this house. When I bought this house, this room was completely unfinished. There was not a square foot of finished space in it. So what I did was I started working in it. The stairwell that you see here when I bought the house was open on both sides. There was frame walls and 1x4s nailed to the studs for railing, and that was it. So I took the treads up because they were worn because they had never been protected, turned them upside down, sanded them, stained them, finished them, put them back down, and then did all the work, the other trim work that you see going down the stairs from here. The first place that I started working in the basement was back sometime in 2015, and I built at that point, which was an office for me to work in, but I call it my library, and it is actually behind that wooden door that you see there. Unfortunately, it has become somewhat of a storage room right now on a temporary basis, so I've got some pictures of the process of what I did to build it. There is an interesting story behind the door that you see there that is solid wood. I was at Lowe's one day with my son, and this was in a clearance rack. It was marked down to, if I remember correctly, $110. I researched the door, and that was like a $500 door at the time. The only reason it was on clearance, it was a special order, and apparently the door jamb on it was messed up. And to me, that wasn't a big of a deal because I could fix it. There was nothing wrong with the door itself. So I brought it home, fixed it up, changed it out because I had one of those contractor grade panel doors in there, and I didn't like it because of the fit and finish of the library, and that became the door to my library. The other thing that I did was I added the wood wainscoting in this area to match up with the stairwell and the door right there, to finish this off at the end of the basement. And I've got some pictures of the the library build, and I did a shelf exactly like this under the window in the library, and I liked it so much that I actually made it a feature of the hallway. So that was the first thing that I did, was the library. All of this stuff that I'm about to show you was unfinished until later. Thing I did after the library was I came in and built this hallway. This wall right here was the stud wall that was where for the stairs and nothing else. So I drywalled in. I put this wall on this side up, did the ceiling. That drop down that you see right there is to actually clear a steel beam and the ducting work for the AC. Put in a closet underneath the stairwell for storage there. Put in another closet over here. And I use that for my outdoor supplies, camping equipment, things like that. The next thing that I did was I came here, and you'll see it in pictures, you can see the build process, but I did this because this has become my laundry room. When I did this, I did it because my washer and dryer were on the back wall of the basement, and it was problematic at best to use them. So I built this room. Going back again, I'd like to point out another piece of the granite that my friend gave me that I've multi-purposed and put it in here, and it's become the countertop for my laundry room. I put in the tile around it as a backsplash for the countertop and built the wall. As you can see, I've got the washer and dryer built into the wall. I put this up and it's just an empty space above them. But it also helps to secure the washer and dryer in place because the washer would tend to move all over the floor, and now it goes nowhere. So that was the next project that I did. After that, I moved on and did my weight room, which I have pictures in a short video that you'll see later. But unfortunately right now it's full of things that, cardboard, paper, and trash. It's I put in the corner of it, and for when I do fires and stuff, I burn all of that stuff. So then the next room that I built is what you will see behind that door right there, another wooden door. This one wasn't on clearance. I bought it and put it in here, a specific purpose. And this project was extremely difficult, but I built a sauna in my basement. I have, the lights are kind of screwing it up, but I have basically a sink for the water source for the sauna. I've got infrared lights at the top for a dry sauna. And then I've got the sauna heater with the rocks right there. And then I put that brick wall feature behind it. And you specifically, with intent, use that blue light to highlight those bricks because I just love the way that looks. But everything in here is all wood. It's treated with linseed oil. And it is very well insulated. There's a vapor barrier behind all the wood paneling and then 6 inches of insulation. The ceiling is isolated from the rest of the frame of the house, and it is also insulated with 6 inches of insulation. I've got a picture that I'll show you, but there's a thermostat and humidity meter for the room, and I've actually had it up to 149 degrees in here. So it works very well. And then from there, the next thing that I did was everything that you see in front of you, putting in the hallway here, and then on the other side of this wall right here is my tool room. There's my bathroom that I put in here. I'll show you that in a minute. Everything that you see that you don't see that's to the right was all done as a single project. I put in a lot of features that I'll show you later. The last thing that I did was what I think is my crowning achievement of this basement remodel, and that is my convenience kitchen that I have down here. And I did this entire room with 3 people, me, myself, and I. I put in all the cabinets, all the appliances. I did everything in here that you see completely and totally by myself. The soffit that you see up there, again, this is a basement, so it is intentionally put there to cover up ductwork, plumbing, pipes, the whole 9 yards. It's all up there, all covered. I put in the wood ceiling and then whitewashed it. I made the whitewash myself and did that finish on the ceiling, and then did the plumbing work. The plumbing is actually part of the bathroom plumbing that's over there as well. When I did the bathroom plumbing, I also did the kitchen plumbing because I knew I was going to be doing that. What I want to do also is come around here and turn around and show you the other side. You can see my popcorn machine and my little microwave. I tried to get everything to match and be color coded, or the same color across everything. The antique lights that I put in there, my daughter challenged me. She said that the light that you see right there should be centered on the beam, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And so I figured it out and we got that done. I do want to point out that the beam work that you see there is all rough cut oak. Going back to the office build, the rough cut oak up there, these are all pieces of the same stockpile of wood that he gave me, and I repurposed them and turned them into these beams that highlight the opening for the kitchen right there. The other thing that I want to point out is that all of the Coca-Cola stuff that you see, going back to the friend of mine that I got all those albums from that I was mentioning earlier, was basically downsizing and had a huge collection of all kind of Coca-Cola memorabilia. So I picked it all up and made it a decoration and part of my kitchen. All of the tins and stuff that you see down there came from that. All of the tins and stuff that you see on the top. Some of the pictures I bought and put in here myself, but all of this was part of a single collection of things that I got. I hope you like it. I really love the way that this turned out, and this was the very last thing that I did in the kitchen. Doing this kitchen was the very last thing in the basement, and this basically finished my basement out with a 100% square foot of finished floor space down here. And that will cover the kitchen. So now, I do want to point this out. This is a bit of a project that me and my daughter undertook. This was a 3D model. She put it together, and I had this old wooden stand. So we took the wooden stand apart. It was in bad shape. Sanded it, stained it, finished it, and then she did the artwork that you see on top to make it look like water. Kind of hard to see because of the lighting in the camera, but if you look, maybe I can get it to come in. There's a silhouette of a mermaid underneath the water. You can barely pick out the red eyes right there, but she's got a silhouette of a mermaid underneath there. And I really love this thing, and that was a joint project that we did at one point. So now going back, this was the next to last thing that I did. And one of the problems that we had, I always loved to entertain people, and I did not have a bathroom down here. I had the plumbing for it, but I didn't have the bathroom. Everybody would have to go upstairs to go to the bathroom. So I decided I was going to build one. And it took me a while. It was not very easy, but I turned an empty space in my basement into my bathroom. And some of the things I was fixed on, like for instance where the toilet goes, I had no choice. That was where it had to go because that's where the plumbing was. Fortunately for me, the plumbing was fixed in the right place that I could do that. I put the stone back wall behind it, did the cabinet work, bought the cabinets, but did the work. Again, you'll notice there's some more of those pieces of granite. These I actually cut to fit. I found out that my table saw would actually cut it, or my tile saw would actually cut it. So I was able to cut to fit and put those in there. The other thing that I did in here, which was no easy task, but I put that floor drain in here. There was a pipe there. One of the problems that I had is that pipe had no trap on it. So what I did was I actually put a hole in the concrete. It was basically wound up being about 8 inches of concrete that I had to chisel and hammer out by hand, and then put a trap in and put that floor drain in. And I have to tell you that it saved my life because I had a fitting that cracked in the ceiling, and I came down here one day and the only thing that kept my basement from flooding was that floor drain. The next thing is that I put in a walk-in shower, as you can see. Another piece of the granite there that I used to make the holder in the wall. Opening the sliding door, put that in, and then looking into the back, you can see that there is the back of the shower. So I put this in. I did all the tile work myself, everything. I do all of the work myself. If I couldn't do it myself, I wouldn't be able to do it because I couldn't afford it. But this is my bathroom. All the decorations, everything that you see was all done by me. And I hope that you enjoy it. I also wanted to show you one thing. So this is the view when you're sitting on the throne, so to speak. So, and there is my bathroom. So the next thing that I want to show you is the spare bedroom that I built in the basement. This was part of the overall project of the major renovations and stuff. So I added this room, put the carpet in myself. The little stands that you see on the wall right there, I built myself. That was all made out of scrap lumber, whatever I could find and whatever I had. A bed that I had that I put in here. And then I built that one. This room was painted with a specific intent and purpose for my daughter's sister, because she used to come visit as well, and this was her room. One of the other things that I did as an experiment, and I have to say that I'm really pleased with the way that it turned out, so it became a permanent part of the room. But I added that little feature right there in the room. I don't know if you realize it or not, but that is a flat wall. What you're looking at is paint. The only thing that I added was the sticker to make it look like a window, but that is actually a flat wall. I was really happy with the way that came out. I figured if it didn't work, I could just paint over it and that would be fine. But in case you're wondering, just so you can see, it is definitely a flat wall. And I was really proud of that. I love that feature in the room. And one of the things that I'll show you, if you can see it, is as you walk across the room, the perspective changes and it follows you as you go across the room. Really happy with that. That was an experiment that wound up being successful, and I really like it. And that pretty much covers this room. Thank you very much. welcome. I want to show you one of my first major outside projects with my John Deere tractor. Welcome to my fire pit. I purpose built this thing. My original fire pit here used to be a circle of very large rocks, and the problem that I had was the grass, weeds, everything else was encroaching upon it, and I was always concerned and worried that it would create a very large bonfire, or a very large bonfire would turn into a very large wildfire. I am surrounded by forest, as you can see, in any direction that you go. My property actually has 15 acres on it, and it goes all the way back to a creek, and it is nothing but forest. So I did this as the first project with my tractor. This was my learning curve because I had never had a tractor in my life, never operated a backhoe, never operated a front end loader, no such thing. So I decided I was going to do this and use it to learn. All the landscape bricks that you see are retaining wall bricks. Just so you're aware, I did the math. There are 7 tons of bricks that make up this fire pit, and I moved every single one of them by hand twice. Once to get them on the tractor, once to put them in place. Another little project that I want to show you is my neighbor, in clearing his land, had cut down a bunch of trees to clear out for where he's putting his house, and I saw a huge log that was made out of oak back there, and I asked him if I could have it. At that time I didn't have a tractor, I didn't have any way. He brought it up here with his tractor and dropped it off for me. It took me 18 months to figure out how I was going to do it, but I made this bench for the fire pit, both the old one and the new one now. I did this with a chainsaw, a grinding wheel, angle grinder, sander, and a vibrating sander. Made the whole thing. So there was quite a bit of work, I'm not going to lie, but I like the way that it came out. Unfortunately, I wish I would have done a better job at sealing the ends and stuff of it on it, because it's got a lot of cracking and stuff from the intense sun heat that it gets, because the sun tracks right across the back of the house, and so it was always in the sun. I've re-stained and sealed it probably 3 times in the last year that it's been in existence, and as you can see, it's still doing quite a bit of cracking on the ends there. So unfortunately for that, but it's still solid. It is solid red oak. It's going to be around for a very long time, and just wanted to show you that. The other thing that I wanted to show you is the fence that I put around it. I affectionately call this my drunk proof fence, because I have a lot of friends over and we like to have parties, and I put the fence up to keep people from driving and walking off into it and getting hurt. The fence more or less is just decoration, it's not structural. I put in the T-post, drove them well into the ground to help support the actual post. I've got the T-post, if you can see, I used wire and tied the wooden post to the T-post, and they're holding them in place. I'm really quite surprised. It is quite sturdy, it is quite strong. It was never intended to be that way. It was intended to be decoration and a safety catch to keep people from walking off the edge into a pit. A lot of my friends call this my amphitheater because of the way that it looks, but I don't think I have to worry about a fire getting away from me now and catching the woods on fire. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to use it yet because we are in severe drought here in Virginia, and we have a burn ban in effect. I can't wait for that to get lifted, so because as you can see, I've done a lot of clearing work, and there's a lot of branches and stuff that I really need to get rid of, plus a lot of cardboard, things like that. So hopefully that lifts soon, because we have had a lot of rain. Probably not enough, but maybe enough to lift the burn ban. And so from here, I'll take you around front, show you one of the other projects that I did. This one took me basically from the beginning of September until the end of May to do. It was a lot of work, all done by hand. I did not have a tractor. I used my truck, I used a pick, I used my back, and I used a hand truck and metal and whatever I could find. But I went into the woods because there is a I'm in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains, and so there is a lot of rock out there. And one of the things that I found and would go through the woods looking for is basically quarries that were getting pushed up through the ground by nature, trees, tree roots, things like that. And I would find those quarries, dig out the quartz. Those are all quartz rocks. Load them up into my truck. Anything that I couldn't pick up, I would either roll it onto my hand truck and tie the hand truck to the hitch on my pickup truck and drag it out of the woods, or if I couldn't get it onto the hand truck, I just rolled it onto a flat piece of metal, chained it down, and drug it out, basically like a sled. So I did this entire area right here, put that all in, and then the other thing is that this whole area at one point was my driveway all the way up to the tree. That right there was part of my driveway, all in between the rocks and stuff. So I didn't have any dirt. So the next thing that I did was take my picks, my hoe, my garden rake, shovels, things like that, and there were a lot of piles of dirt, and there's still a lot of piles of dirt around the house where when they were building it, they just pushed it off into the woods and it stayed there. So I took 5-gallon buckets and I went and tore those hills down, filled up the 5-gallon buckets, threw them in the back of my truck, and I filled all of the garden area that you see here with 5-gallon buckets of dirt, 11 at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, I moved 300 5-gallon buckets of dirt to do this work. It was quite taxing, but it was worth it in the end. Right now it doesn't look very well because of the fall and the leaves and stuff like that, but I can tell you in the spring it is beautiful out here. I've done a lot of work trying to get this up. One of the things I do want to mention is the fencing that you see around the garden. That is a necessary evil because I was always having problems with my garden. I couldn't get anything to grow because the deer would come through and eat it all down to the ground. So I put the fence up, and this last year was probably one of the best years I had for my garden, and it was extremely beautiful, and I was really proud of it. In the background there, you'll see the fence. That is another project that I did. I added a deck onto the side of the house. The first part of the deck that I built was for my son's 18th birthday party. When I built it, I built the deck, and actually when I come around here, I'll show you. I actually made an outside bar to go along with the rest of the deck. There's the bar area. It's a little worn. I need to do some work to get some maintenance done on it and bring it back into shape. It's got lights everywhere. It's all kind of stuff. Looks really nice. There's the actual bar area. I had some stools out here, and then a couple of years later, and the whole intent of this and the design of it was with intent for the future as well. I do want to show you that door that you see right there, when the house was built, was actually a window into the master bedroom. I took the window out, put the door in so that I would have access to the deck. The next phase of it was to actually build the deck that you see where the hot tub is sitting on. When I designed the original part of the deck, it was for this purpose. I finally got to finish it up and actually put the hot tub in and built that deck. And I can tell you that over 6 years, this foundation has not settled or anything, and that hot tub holds almost 400 gallons of water, so it's quite heavy and not a bit of settling or anything. Really happy with that as well. And now it's time to show you what is behind door number 2. If you remember last time when I started the trek down the basement, we came down the stairs. I mentioned this door and said we'd get back to it later. Well, now is later. When we got here, we went down that way and started looking at all of the things there. So at this point, we will go behind door number 2 and I'll show you. This is my pride and joy of my basement. First of all, this is my blackjack table. I built this and designed this myself. I love the game, and I intend to take my youngest daughter on her 21st birthday to Las Vegas, and I am teaching her how to play blackjack so that when we get there, we can have some fun. The artwork that you see on the front of the table is all her. Her design, her painting, everything about it is all her. I really love that, and really proud to have it on my table in my bar. And from the blackjack table, I want to show you the next feature that I really enjoy, and that is the fireplace. Just like previously when we talked about the office, I will tell you that this was the first one that I put in here when I built the bar. All of the trim, everything in here is all based off of this. This was the first feature that I built into the room. The shelves are lighted, but if I turn them on, you won't be able to see anything, so I'm leaving them off. But each one of the shelves has lights to accent the figures that are there, and there's mirrors in the back of them as well, which helps accentuate the feature of the fireplace. The sword I actually got when I was overseas in the Middle East, and I really enjoy this feature, and I liked it so much that I actually did the one in the office that I showed you earlier. Now we will move over and I'll show you another feature that I've added here, and that is my upright piano string carriage that I have on the wall. My neighbor gave this to me. I helped him tear apart an upright piano. He wanted it for the wood. I asked him for the carriage and he gave it to me because this is what I had in mind with it. It took me 2 years to figure out how to get that thing mounted to the wall and up there, because I'm going to tell you it is extremely heavy. That's all cast iron. One of the things that I would like to show you as well, if I can find it, is that date. I'm not sure if you can see it, but that says 2/99. Folks, that is February of 1899. This is a upright piano built and sold in 1901. So I made this feature. It was quite a challenge. I built a structural lumber frame behind it, drilled holes in the top of it, used cargo straps and pulled that off the floor by myself, an inch at a time, until I got it all the way up there and was able to push it back into place and then put the lag screws in to hold it. I did put some safety barriers in front of it so that if I lost it, it would fall against those and not on me. But I love this thing. Me and my daughter actually cleaned it up, painted it, cleaned the strings, all of that stuff. She did all the painting work on the rails and stuff. And I ultimately got it up there and got it in. The next thing that I want to show you is those doors. Looks like beautiful wood doors. Unfortunately, they're not wood. That is a steel door. I had the idea to try to make them look like wood doors to match everything else. My son told me I was crazy. I would never be able to do it. I accepted the challenge, and there it is. I can assure you they are definitely steel doors. One of the other things that I want to point out is my bar. I've always wanted a bar. I come to the realization that I would probably never be able to actually start one and own one. So what I did was I converted a space in my basement to my own personal private bar. It is fully stocked. I have parties here all the time. I've had graduation parties, birthday parties, all kind of stuff in here, and it is a lot of fun. One of the other things that I want to show you is there's a sink there that is fully functional. I have water behind there. That black lid that you see there is the ice machine. I have a little heater over there. That's the white box. And then I have a stainless steel cabinet underneath the bar that I use for storing glasses and things like that. This is my music center. I have 3 laptops, 2 Windows, 1 Apple. That's where all the music that I have for the bar is at. I have those fed into that little mixer panel down there, and then that mixer panel feeds up, and all those cables that you see right there go across the room, come down, and feed the stereo system that is in this room. 7 amplifiers, equalizer, sound conditioner, and I have a power conditioner on it as well. This entire system and setup is on its own dedicated 20 amp breaker, and it still trips that breaker. The other thing that I do want to point out is this is for music. That box that you see right there is actually a receiver for 7.1 surround. I also have the ability to cast from my laptops onto my TV screen through wireless, and can play videos and all that on the 65-inch TV over there that my son got me for Christmas a couple years ago. Some of the other things that I want to show you in here. So I've done a lot of various different things to decorate it up. This right here is a bottle cap artwork piece that my daughter made for me. It is intended to mimic the piano on the other side of the room, and it's all made from bottle caps. Every one of those bottle caps were consumed in this bar, and they're up there. I still have a very large collection, and we're trying to figure out other projects that we can do with them. Got quite a bit of stuff around here that I've decorated with. A lot of lighting. Walking you behind the bar right now, you can see that it is most definitely fully stocked and well stocked. Probably stocked better than most bars in this area. The other thing that I do have is I have my own little beer fridge down there, and that's where I keep beer for parties and stuff. The refrigerator in my kitchen that I showed you earlier is for overflow and extra. The countertop that you see right there, I built that myself out of project panels from Lowe's. Cut them, sanded them. It was a lot of sanding work because I had a hard time getting them to come together the way that I want, and then treated them with hardwood polyurethane for flooring. There's probably 6 coats of that, each coat sanded down and successfully put over the other one to get that finish that you see there. This has been in use for about 3 years, so it does have a few scratch marks and things like that on it. But it is very resilient, and I've had no problems with it. Going back a little closer view, this is the music setup for the bar. I have the monitor speakers down there on the bottom. I use those for research, watching YouTube videos, listening to music to see if I like it, download it, and then I'll play it on the bigger systems if I really like it. One of the other features that I have is there's my beer menu, and the way that works, if you can read the label, it's in the beer fridge, and I keep it stocked and rotate through. Those are the bottles that I typically get. Sometimes I'll get something new, and then I'll put it up there. I keep anything that I rotate through in the cabinet down below the sink as well, so that I can swap them out as I need to. One of the things that I do want to point out is the sign. Me and my son made this. The name of the bar is The Quarantine because it was built during the pandemic. Couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything, and I decided this was going to be my project. I called the bar The Quarantine, and me and my son made that sign. And the other thing that I want to show you is, if you'll notice around the top of the ceiling, you'll see all of these lights and things like that. They are all functional. One of the things I'll do is I'll walk out over here and I will flip the switch and show you how they work. And there they are, all coming on all around the room. And you can see the lights on the ceiling. See this one, and when this one warms up and starts shining, you'll see that it projects an image across, and it rotates through various images. And there you have it. The other thing that I want to show you is that box right up there is actually a smoke machine. Turn that thing on and fill the room with smoke, and then all these other lights that happen to be laser lights creates quite an intensive laser light show. Some of the other things I want to show you is decoration. So if you see all the Elvis memorabilia, again, that was actually part of a collection of stuff that a friend of mine trying to downsize was getting rid of, so I was able to pick it all up as a total complete collection and use it to decorate my bar. That's one of my favorite pictures right there with Elvis and Marilyn. One of the other things that I will point out is that I have a VHS there. It does work. It does feed into everything, and the reason that I have it is that between DVD and VHS, I have every movie Elvis Presley ever made in a collection that's sitting over there in that cabinet against the wall. This is probably one of the favorite features of the bar for kids. When I have kids here, regardless of their age, everybody always likes to play that and chew the gum that comes out of it. That was another part of that collection that I got with the Elvis and Coke and all the other stuff. One of the last things I want to show you is my drinking partner, my buddy Slim. He sits here all the time drinking with me, so I don't have to drink by myself. I do have to tell you, he doesn't hold his liquor very well. Everything just goes right through him, but he's a good friend. We'll actually share some pictures of some of the more zany things that he's done to me over the years. The other features that I want to talk about is this bar. It was actually made out of just standard tongue and groove pine siding. I sanded it down, sanded down the corners, did everything I could to get some good fit and finish on it. One of the things that I did underneath was I used those blocks right there to help support the outside weight of people leaning on the bar. One of the other features that I designed into the top of the bar, should someone get careless drunk and lose their mind, if they spill a drink on the bar, it is going to roll off right into their lap because the bar is actually leveled for that purpose. It is not going to go to the inside of the bar and get on all my electronics equipment. Just a little surprise feature on the bar. If somebody spills a drink, it's going to roll right into their lap. The other thing is the actual liquor cabinet, the shelves that you see back there. One of the unique things about that is that entire cabinet is built out of scrap lumber. If you'll notice the differences in the shelves, none of them are pretty much the same size. There's all kind of like different nuances to the shelves, the width, all of that kind of stuff. It was all built out of scrap lumber, and that entire shelf, even around the corner, is all one piece. My son actually helped me put that in there once I got it mounted. I put the mirrors in the background and then did all the trim, fit, and finish on it, and then did all the stain work, sanding, varnishing, and it's with polyurethane as well. It's meant for hardwood floors. I use that because it is extremely resilient for furniture grade finishes. Okay folks, well, I think I'm going to wrap this initial launch video up. I do want to leave you with a few parting thoughts. So I launched this channel based off of watching a lot of other YouTube channels and seeing the things that people are doing out there and how they're doing it and stuff, and I figured, well, I can do the same thing because I have a lifetime of experience doing this kind of stuff. I do want to make sure everyone understands that the intent of this channel is not to be a how-to channel. It's intended to be a how I do channel. One of the key components of everything that I'm doing is I have a team of 3, me, myself, and I. So I do things a lot differently because I have to work within the constraints of what I'm able to do. I will tell you that getting that tractor that I have has opened up a lot of doors for me, being able to do a lot of things that I used to be able to do that I can't. And now I can go back to doing those because I have hydraulic power to help me do it. One of the other things that I would like to do is I would like to make sure that you guys are all aware and thank my dad. My dad forced me when I was a very young man, young, dumb, and stupid, to learn skills and trades that I've carried through with me my entire life. Without that, I would not have been able to do anything that you've seen in this video, and I would not have had the skills to do it. There is no way that I would have been able to afford to have anyone come into my home and do the things that I did. Everything was done based on my dreams, my vision, and my purpose and intent for what you see. And I'm really thankful to my dad for making sure that I had the skills to do that. So, Dad, if you're watching this down there in Georgia, thank you so much. One of the other things that I would like to do is one of the key inspirations that made me start this channel is a YouTube channel called This Off-Grid Life. They don't know me, I don't know them. I watch their channel, and I highly recommend, if you haven't seen them, that you do go see them. It's very inspirational. It's a couple up in Canada building their dream home off-grid in the mountains of Canada, and it's really amazing. So just a plug for them. They don't know I'm doing it. I'm just doing it because I really think they have a great channel. I hope that my channel can measure up to that. I hope that you enjoyed everything that I've done. I do hope that you stick around so that you can see things that I'm going to be doing, because I have a lot of things. It's the staple of my life, and it keeps me going. Everything that I've showed you today, with the exception of my library, has happened since 2017. I bought this house back in 2011 and didn't do anything with it for several years. And then I decided that I was just going to start working on it and making all of the things that I wanted in a home a reality. It's been a long, hard work. I do have a day job, so everything that you've seen me do has been in the evenings after work and on the weekends, every single day, every weekend since 2017. I don't stop. Some of the things that I do want to tell you, just so that you're aware of and what's coming down the road. One of my next projects is going to build a sawmill. I'm going to do that so that I can start getting heavy into woodworking, which is something I love. So I'll have 2 video episodes for that. To be perfectly honest with you, they're already recorded. I'm holding them to finish this one. The next thing I'm going to probably do is finish up some work on my driveway and create a work area for my sawmill. And then I'm going to start working on building a smokehouse. Down the road, I'm going to build an underground camping cabin that'll be completely off-grid. I'm going to do that in the back 40 of my property. I'll be doing a lot of tree falling, lumber cutting, things like that. And one of the other things that I'm really looking forward to is installing a 150-foot zip line that I have. And I'm going to do that in the back of the woods somewhere, creating launching pads and landing pads. And 150-foot zip line would be really nice, because the entire back part of my property is a lot of ravines and stuff. If I can, one of the other things that I'll probably be doing is actually damming up those ravines and trying to create a water feature on my property. So there's a lot at store, and that's just what's on my mind right now. Every day I wake up, I think of something new, and I move forward on it, and I make it happen. It takes me a lot longer than I would like sometimes, but life and the weather get in the way, and you just got to carry on. I don't ever stop. I don't ever give up, and I hope you don't either. Please like, please subscribe, and please come back. I really appreciate you watching this, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoy all the future videos that I'm going to be putting out as well. Welcome to the family. Thank you.